Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE here, as it's time for our next set of premium live events. It's the May ones, meaning we have the Smackdown exclusive No Mercy, followed by the Raw and NXT co-branded Battleground. Two stacked cards, a lot to look forward to, a lot to move forward in before next month. Of course, a massive pay-per-view / premium live event in Money in the Bank. Love Money in the Bank. I'm still tweaking and in my mind with the ideas. I think I'm pretty locked on, but you know, I'm looking forward to it and seeing how it plays out. Massive stuff happening there, and massive stuff happening here as well, of course, with these premium live events. Kicking off things, we have the SmackDown exclusive No Mercy, which gets underway on the pre-show with a tag team match between Breezango, Tyler Breeze and Fandango taking on Control's Braun Strowman and EC3, Joe Gacy, Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake watching on from ringside, as in the end Braun Strowman and EC3 come out on top, Strowman taking out Fandango for a 73. Good match. 79 Braun, 68 Tyler, 62 Fandango, 43 EC3, all doing pretty well. EC3's first match back, he's popping the gutter, but still good match. As Control do come out on top after the match, Gacy giving the orders as Cutler and Blake grab hold of Breezango and hold him down in the ring. They tie his arms up in the ropes, you know, where they get caught between the middle and the top, and you're kind of just stuck there and holding his legs, holding his head, forcing him to watch as Joe Gacy just smiles and tells Strowman to do it again. And he lifts up Fandango and he hits him with another running power slam, and then Gacy says, "Do it again." And 2 or 3 more power slams later, Gacy's finally pleased, finally done with it, smiling, throwing up the peace sign at Tyler. But they make their way out, eventually Tyler being released from the ropes and checking on Fandango before he is stretchered away for a 72. Good little pre-show stuff here as Joe Gacy and Control take out Fandango, much to the chagrin. I was not say chagrin. I couldn't even define that for you, but it felt like the right word, of Tyler Breeze for 72 on the post. Very happy, as then the pre-show is done, and it's time to move on to the main card, which as always gets underway with a lovely opening video package, highlighting some of the big matches happening tonight. Looking at Bullard versus Cruz, Belair versus Deville for the $1 million title, Woods Gulak, Roman Reigns versus Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso having to be medically checked and, you know, being for his injury he got on Friday Night Smackdown, so up in the air about him whether that match will even go ahead, but we'll find out, of course. Keith Lee versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship, gotta be a banger. It's just 2 guys who are really good at the wrestling, isn't it? So I don't see why it wouldn't be a banger. Before the main event, of course, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, no holds barred Women's Universal Championship versus Shayna Baszler SmackDown contract. If Baszler loses, she's gone from SmackDown. No more second chances at Ronda Rousey. A 100 for that. Really good opening video package as always. A stacked card. And without further ado, let's just get into it as the show gets underway with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships on the line. We have the champions, of course, in Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe, and their challengers, the former champions, Spanish Fly. Alfonso Bourbon back from his injury and Socrates Torres ready and waiting. The pair of them looking to win back the titles. They never technically lost. They had to be vacated following Bourbon's injury, but I mean they were never pinned. They never officially lost it, so they're looking to get back the titles they say they should still have against Bronson Reed and Samoa Joe. And in the end, Spanish Fly, you know, impressing as always, Bourbon back in the ring, lovely to see. But in the end, Socrates Torres up to the top rope, Samoa Joe managing to get him and lift him up for the muscle buster, Bourbon going on top rope as well, and Bronson Reed taking him out a little bit. He's dropping on the top rope, Samoa Joe picking Bourbon up as well, both men on his shoulders in the muscle buster. Reed makes a tag, double muscle buster to both of them. Bourbon on top of Torres before Bronson Reed climbs to the top rope and hits a tsunami for the victory. For an 82, good little match. I'm happy, no complaints with that. Reed and Joe keep a hold of their SmackDown tag titles. They have pinned Spanish Fly. They proved they deserve those titles. You know, Spanish Fly, injured or not, they could have climbed to the top of this mountain and beaten them for the titles, but they are the champions. Their third defense, very pleased. 82, 79 Reed, 78 Joe, 77 Torres, 56 Bourbon. No complaints as Bronson, Reed and Samoa Joe keep a hold of their SmackDown Tag Team Championships. As then, afterwards, it's time for another match, just straight into it, no dilly-dallying. We have the match that's been building for a bit between, on one side, we have Deonna Purrazzo, flanked by, of course, Lana, Chelsea Green, Frankie Monet, and Aaliyah, and her opponent, Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan looking to prove she can go with Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo, $1 million champion at WrestleMania, and Liv Morgan wants to prove that she can go toe-to-toe with her, that Liv Morgan is ready to move to the next level, to a championship level maybe, and Deonna wanting to shut up little Liv Morgan, as she says once and for all, and prove that Deonna is better than her, as she keeps saying she is. And in the end, the referee gets knocked down, Deonna on her feet, Liv down a little bit, Deonna demanding a weapon. Chelsea Green goes and grabs it and goes to give it to Deonna, but Aaliyah stops her. Aaliyah, a little hesitant. Aaliyah doesn't want this, cheating. Deonna says she can beat Liv Morgan, so beat her, and Deonna not very happy that this is a kind of shouting match ensues as Aaliyah snatching the chair from Chelsea Green trying to get it back. Deonna not very happy. Deonna turning around swiftly into a Liv kick from Liv Morgan for the victory. Liv Morgan does get the win for a 77. Another good match. Much better than I thought it would be ratings-wise, but I'm very pleased. 70 Purrazzo, 63 Morgan, both doing really well. But it's Liv Morgan who does come out on top after the match. Liv Morgan happy, celebrating. Very pleased with her victory here at No Mercy. Whilst Deonna Purrazzo a lot less pleased, especially with Aaliyah's defiance of sorts to her orders, I suppose is the word. Aaliyah not wanting to cheat, and Deonna not very pleased with being defeated for a 75. Yeah, good match, good post, good show so far, as expected. The quality of the shows has just kind of reached a point where, they're getting at least mid-70s, usually, on pretty much every segment, and there's not much to say, then I'm quite happy with that. That's, it's good. I'm happy. Before next up, it's time for another non-title match on the card. Between, on one side, we have Apollo Crews, the prodigal son of the Bullard brand. And his opponent, of course, Bullard of the Bullard brand. Big, bad, Thaddeus Bullard. Bullard coming out with Paul Heyman ready for this fight. This fight he never really wanted against Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews has been under his wing for so long. Before Thaddeus Bullard, when he was still Tyson O'Neill, Apollo Crews was under his wing and under his management and his brand. But still, it's come to this, and Bullard's ready for this, and Crews ready for this. Crews ready once and for all, wanting to prove that he can beat Thaddeus Bullard. He couldn't do it last year for the Intercontinental title, in May, I want to say as well. But he wants to prove that he can do it. He can beat him. He can beat Big Bad Thad. Apollo Crews, of course, joined by his two new proteges of his own. He was the prodigal son under the learning tree of Bullard. Now seemingly he has two superstars under his learning tree in the form of the Giants and the Colossuses. That is Omos and Babatunde. Yep, bunch of big beefy men, isn't it? Apollo Crews, Thaddeus Bullard. In the end, Bullard on top, managing to hit the Bullard bomb onto Apollo Crews, only for a 2.5, a 2.9 even, so close. Bullard setting up ready for the Bullard boot as Apollo Crews gets up onto his knees. And Bullard goes over to him, and Bullard can't believe it. Bullard can't believe it came to this. He looks down at Apollo Crews. He goes right over to him. He holds his face. And he says, it wasn't meant to be like this. You and me, this was meant to be till the end. This was meant to be forever. You and me. Why did you make me do this? And Bullard hesitating. Bullard can't bring himself to put down Apollo Crews here. And he just looks down at Apollo and says, just end this. Just end this. Just take my hand and let's walk out of here and we can make things right. And Bullard reaching down his hand to Apollo Crews. And Apollo taking his hand. And the two men getting onto their feet. And Apollo hugging Bullard. A warm embrace from the mentor and mentee relationship they've had for years. And they hug. Bullard, tears in his eyes even, for what he's had to do. And Cruz, not so much tears in his eyes. As they pull away from the hug, and Cruz headbutts Thaddeus Bullard. Bullard dazed, allowing Cruz to kick to the gut and to lift Bullard up. Spin out powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. As your winner is Apollo Crews. Bullard had it. Bullard had it, but he hesitated. He let his heart get the better of him. He didn't want to attack Apollo Crews, or he didn't want to beat him like that, to destroy him, to dominate him, as Bullard has for so long to so many. 84 for the match, by the way. 80 Bullard, 77 Crews, really good. And Crews, you know, Bullard maybe lured into that false sense of security by Crews with the hug, and Crews does pick up the victory, and Crews does stand tall. Arms raised in the air, Omos and Bubba Tunde behind him, the imposing skyscrapers that they are, as Bullard lays on the mat, and Heyman can but watch on as Bullard is dealt another defeat. Bullard, that's 3 premium live events in a row. He lost to Keith Lee, he lost to LA Knight, he lost to Apollo Crews. What is next for Big Bad Thad is the question. Heyman can but watch on for that 98. Really good match, really good post. I feel like I spent quite a lot of time on that match. If you can't tell, I really like Thaddeus Bullard. And I've written this entire storyline for him ever since the start of this save in June 2020, for the love of all things good. And so yeah, it's still going. God, I love this man. As then, next up, we move on to the title pictures, and we have the $1 million title up for grabs first of all. It is the champion, Bianca Belair, and the challenger, 1/3 of No Mercy, in the form of Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville take Conti, her partner, at ringside, of course, wanting to get some singles gold of her own. Deville, I mean, she won a contention match to get here, so she's earned her spot. Belair looking to keep hold of that $1 million title still. Belair has spent a lot of time on that $1 million title. I mean, she won it for her second reign in WrestleMania. She had it before then as well. She lost the title to Shayna Baszler, the leader of No Mercy, in competition later tonight. How will she get on against Sonya Deville, a member of No Mercy? In the end, your winner. And still, the $1 million champion is Bianca Belair. Belair does get the win. She hits the KOD on Deville. Tay Conti tried to get involved, but Belair had Deville on her back for the KOD. Conti tries to get involved. Belair, using Deville's legs, hit Tay Conti. And then, hell, why not? She lifted up Tay Conti as well. It's a night of hitting double finishers. She lifted both women on her back. Double KOD. Pinned Deville for the 1-2-3. Makes her defense 85 for the match. Incredible match. 80 Deville, 66 Belair. I don't know what's wrong with Belair, but Sonya Deville's doing incredible, isn't she? Honestly. 85. Very, very happy. What a match. What a match. I just wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. As then, next up, we go backstage. Kayla Braxton getting a personal interview with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline there as well. Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa standing either side of him as he sits in his nice comfy chair. Kayla asking him about tonight. And Roman Reigns says that what happened on Friday and what's not happening, more specifically tonight, is exactly why Jimmy is not in my bloodline anymore. Because he's too weak. He's too fragile. I need warriors in my bloodline. I don't need little babies who are going to get injured and disappear for weeks at the slightest inconvenience. No, I don't need cowards who are going to say they're too hurt to get in the ring with me. Because if you want to step to the tribal chief, then step up and let me give you an ass whooping, because I'll give you the ass whooping of your life. Do you believe that? So Jimmy, well, I'm done with Jimmy. I was done with Jimmy the second I kicked him out this bloodline, but I'm definitely done with him now. And now I'm ready for what inevitably comes next. For a 100, Roman, done with Jimmy, ready for what is next. But what is next? We'll have to wait and see. For now, we move on to the United States Championship match between the champion, Xavier Woods, on the form of his life, really, against the challenger, Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak has proved himself a worthy adversary for Xavier Woods, both mentally and physically. But it's one thing, you know, these mental tests and these physical tests and acts of strength and all that. But in the ring, it's a whole different ball game. You know, you have to think a mile a minute. You have to go in that ring 100% of the time. And in the end, with the United States title on the line, Drew Gulak won the acts of strength and the acts of, you know, mental endurance and all of that. But in the end, when it comes to the wrestling part, Xavier Woods keeps a hold of his United States Championship, hitting the Shining Wizard on Gulak to make his next defense of the US title. Xavier Woods' reign continues. 81 for the match. Really good match again. 77 Woods, 63 Gulak. As even with Gulak off his game, I'm pleased Woods gets the victory and keeps a hold of that US title for another day. And God, he will tell you about it, won't he? As then Kayla continues her incredible work interviewing, getting an exclusive interview with Thaddeus Bullard. Heyman there as well. And Kayla asked Bullard about what is next. He lost the Universal Championship to Keith Lee at WrestleMania. He lost to LA Knight at WrestleMania Backlash. And now he lost to Apollo Crews at No Mercy. So what is next for Thaddeus Bullard? And Heyman, not saying anything, he just looks at Bullard. It's as if to say that I am your advocate, but this is what is next for you. And Bullard just says very plainly, very clearly that I know what I am. I know I'm the top of the top here. And people can turn on me and people can pretend otherwise, but big, bad Thad always will rise back to the top. And on Smackdown, I begin my ascent back to the top. Because I think I need to remind people who I am. For an 85, good interview. Bullard promising to remind people who he is come next episode of Smackdown. So you have to tune in next time for that. And to see all the fallout from these amazing shows. Plenty of reason to tune in, isn't there, for you? As next up, it's time for the co-main event of sorts. The Universal Championship match. On one side of the ring, we have the champion, the limitless one, Keith Lee, and his opponent, Seth Rollins. Two incredible superstars in this ring. Two incredible competitors. Both men, I mean, such different superstars, such different styles, but in that ring, I can only assume magic is about to be born rating-wise. Keith Lee, Seth Rollins does sound like a banger, doesn't it? And in the end, with the Universal Championship on the line, Seth Rollins goes for the curb stomp, and maybe as expectedly here, Keith Lee vaults him into the air, quite a while in the air. Keith Lee, very strong neck, just launches him, and Seth Rollins eventually comes down into the Spirit Bomb from Keith Lee for the 1-2-3. Keith Lee retaining the Universal Championship for a 94 match of the night so far. The main event might take that, but it's going to be close. Really good either way. 92 Keith Lee, 91 Rollins. Both men doing amazing in ring and getting a really good rating. What more could you want? Keith Lee does get the win and does keep a hold of his Universal Championship, though the limitless one reigns supreme after the match, gets his arm raised, gets the Universal Championship arm raised by the referee. Keith Lee basking in this moment, basking in the glory of it. When, yes, out walks Roman Reigns. He said that what's next for him is the inevitable. And I mean, last Smackdown a day ago, he pinned Keith Lee in that 6-man tag team main event. He pinned the Universal Champion, and down he walks to the ring now. Jey Uso and Solo Sikoa by his side, and he gets into that ring. Jey Uso lifting his finger, you know, I'm the one. We're the ones. and Keith Lee and Roman Reigns staring down this inevitable seeming confrontation between these Goliaths, the Tribal Chief and the Limitless One, face to face. It gets to 100 as, yes, this face-to-face becomes a face-to-face to face. As out comes John Cena, the 16-time world champion. Hustle, loyalty, respect. Not seen since WrestleMania when LA Knight defeated him. John Cena is back for a 100. The crowd erupts. Roman Reigns not impressed. Keith Lee very much still focused on Roman Reigns right now to acknowledge Cena. Cena making his way down to the ring. And then the three Goliaths in this ring. The Universal Champion Keith Lee, the less experienced of the three in WWE terms, but still the one with the gold. Standing across from him, Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table without the world title. And now, standing across from both of them, the 16-time world champ, John Cena. What a... God, it's weird the show's not ending with this, because what a face-to-face this is. A 100, of course, for that. John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Keith Lee all staring down over that prize Keith Lee holds, the Universal Championship. Incredible. Very much still shocked that this is an ending show, but there is something... I don't know if you can decide if it's bigger. Let me know in the comments down below if you thought I should have ended with this, because it is quite big. But I didn't, because it's time for a massive main event for the Women's Universal Championship. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, no holds barred. If Shayna loses, her Smackdown contract is terminated. Title versus contract. It's big. It's massive. I put it in the main event. Why not? You know, I feel like a big thing in the first year of the series, for better or for worse, the women didn't main event pay-per-views or premium live events much. So I want to do it more. And, I mean, Ronda versus Shayna, in the end of their trilogy, no holds barred, title versus contract, feels like a pay-per-view main event. Shout out to John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Keith Lee still, though. Is, in the end, Ronda, Shayna, the Women's Universal title, and Shayna Baszler's SmackDown contract up for grabs. In the end, they battle it out on the top rope. The table behind them on the mat. Shayna wanting to push Ronda, but Ronda managing to hold on, and in the end, Ronda grabs a hold of Shayna, and she does that move, that judo throw over the shoulder to Shayna off the top rope through the table. Shayna smashing through it, and Ronda holding on and then locking in the armbar before, after a brutal matchup, Shayna Baszler has no choice but to tap out. As your winner, and still the Women's Universal Champion, is the rowdy Ronda Rousey. Shayna Baszler's SmackDown contract is terminated. I mean, I very specifically said SmackDown contract because obviously she's not getting fully fired, is she? So Raw or NXT will await for Shayna. That is a problem for another day for me to work out. All that matters right now is that Ronda Rousey is still the Women's Universal Champion. A 98, incredible match. I take this as justification. I made the right choice with the main event, so take that. 95 Ronda, 76 Shayna. Very happy. Ronda Rousey, still Women's Universal Champion, gets her arm raised. Shayna Baszler's gone for good, and she is still Women's Universal Champion for a 100. Perfect end to the show. This show's going to get a 99 or a 100 rating, so I have no issues with that. Overall rating-wise, this show does get, go on, what is it, 99 or a 100? A 100. A perfect rating. I mean, a lot of 100 grade segments, a lot of really good matches. Shout out to Bianca, Sonya, who really, I thought did incredible. I'm going to shout out Sonya specifically because she did amazing. As well, Keith Lee, Ronda, I'll just make my speeches. Sonya did amazing. Ronda did amazing, dragging that main event to a 98 because Shayna got in the 70s, you all remember. And shout out Keith Lee as well. You and Seth really tore the house down. You all did a great performance, and you're all pleased with my praise. Keith Lee was happy with my speech. He looks it. A joyous speech I have given the group. As No Mercy has come to a close, the first of 2 premium live events in this premium live event special has gone really, really well. It's set a very high bar, hasn't it? But hopefully, Next up, we'll be able to at least match it. I mean, if we can't, this did set an unreasonably high bar, I'd say, so I won't blame it too much. Without further ado, though, let's just jump forward. Next up to our second premium live event of the episode, the Raw and NXT co-branded pay-per-view, Battleground. And Battleground gets underway with the pre-show featuring, first of all, the Cruiserweight Tag Team Championship match. The champions, the Mysterios, taking on the challengers, the Lucha Dragons, Gran Metalik, and Lince Dorado. In the end, Mysterios do come out on top and retain their Cruiserweight Tag Team Championships. Dominic Mysterio pinning Lince Dorado in order to do so, to give his team the win. Yeah, 76, good little opener here on the pre-show. I wasn't expecting the world from it, and, you know, what it gave, I'm happy with. 89 Ray, very much carrying this. 61 Gran Metalik, 57 Lince Dorado, 49 Dominic. Dominic slowly building up, you know, he's getting there. He'll get there. He's doing well. He's champion with his father. He's having a good time. That's what matters, really. As then Battleground properly gets underway with, as every single show I do, every premium live event at least, opening video package, just highlighting the big matches. We got the Raw Tag Contention match, Orton and Garza versus Cody Warriors, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and Mandy Rose for the Women's World title. Jericho, Ford, Lashley, Lynch and Flair versus Team 2001, Gable versus Corbin, and of course the main event, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong for the WWE Championship for a 100. It's a nice little opening video package. Gets a good segment boost to kick things off. You'd be dumb not to. As then we kick off the show with what will hopefully be a good match from the Black and Gold for the NXT North American Championship. On the one side, of course, we have the champion, Isaiah Swerve Scott, and his challenger, Ace Austin. I mentioned we have Gable versus Corbin, and now we have Corbin's protege in Ace Austin going for the North American title as well against Swerve Scott. Swerve looking to prove he is the only ace around here. And in the end, with the NXT North American Championship up for grabs, your winner, and still NXT North American Champion, is Isaiah Swerve Scott, hitting the Swerve Stomp on Austin in the end to put him away for an 82. Good opener. 84 Swerve, 67 Ace Austin. Swerve's done very, very well. He's very much grown. I'm happy with his progress. If you compare him from when this series started in last year, April 2021 in-game, to his performances now, he's very much grown. I'm very much happy with his growth. He retains the North American title. 84 for him, 67 Ace Austin. Very, very happy. I'm pleased. Good match. Good little opener to kick things off as Swerve stays champion of his house, the North American Championship Division. As then, we have a special announcements from Mr. McMahon, a video Mr. McMahon speaking over, announcing the official locations for our next two massive shows, really. First of all, Money in the Bank. Our next premium live event will be live from Las Vegas, Nevada, July 2nd. Unless anything goes really wrong, it will be July 2nd. Money in the Bank, how could it not be? And then the biggest announcement of the lot, the SummerSlam announcement, as SummerSlam will emanate live 30 years after it did previously for the first and only time from Wembley Stadium in the UK. SummerSlam going back to the United Kingdom, going back to Wembley. First time since 1992, SummerSlam 1992 at Wembley. Now SummerSlam 2022 will be there as well, August 27th, I think, unless my dates are wrong and unless anything goes very much wrong. August 27th is when it will be. For a 68, fine with that. I wanted to put those locations out there at some point, and we'll just do it here because I wanted to put something here, honestly, so why not? As then next up, we return to the action and return to some tag team action, as now it's time for the Raw Tag Team Championship #1 contenders match, as the team of the third generation superstars in Randy Orton and Angel Garza have a semi-alliance of some sort. Randy Orton can't help but find young superstars to form alliances with under me, can he? Against the former champions, the Celtic Warriors. The Celtic Warriors are looking to become contenders, go get their gold back. Garza and Orton looking to put down the Celtic Warriors. Orton, Drew McIntyre have largely had some beef going into this, dating all the way back to when Orton beat McIntyre in 2020 to win the WWE Championship. Now they're going in this tag team match, and in the end, your winners and the #1 contenders to the Raw Tag Team Championships are Randy Orton and Angel Garza. They get the win. McIntyre goes for the Claymore, Orton ducks underneath, he goes for the RKO, McIntyre shrugs it off, goes for another Claymore, Orton ducks underneath again, and this time manages to plant the RKO onto McIntyre for the 1-2-3, 85 for the match, good match, 87 Garza, 82 McIntyre, 79 Orton, 74 Sheamus, very pleased, really good match, and Angel Garza and Randy Orton, the makeshift team of these third generation superstars, are the number one contenders to the Raw Tag Team Championships. Will they be taking on the Broserweights, or will they be taking on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn? We'll find out later tonight when those two teams collide, but for now, all that matters is that Garza and Orton get the win and are the contenders. Orton pinning McIntyre and winning that little semi-feud that was involved in this other bigger feud at the same time. I'm happy. Another good match. As then, we stay in the tag team division, this time jumping over to NXT for some mixed tag team action. Representing hashtag trending, we have Grayson Waller and Tiffany Stratton, and their opponents Candice LeRae, and the returned to NXT husband of Candice LeRae, Johnny Gargano, for such a long time the beating heart of NXT, back on the black and gold and teaming with his lovely wife Candice LeRae, taking on hashtag trending. Wanted to shut up hashtag trending. You know, LeRae's had her beef with Stratton, Waller got involved, and Gargano very much got involved as well. And in the end, in this mixed tag team match, your winners, I'd say, of course, really, because I don't know if you're expecting anything else, but it is Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae who come out on top here. Yeah, good little match, 74. I'm happy with that considering who's in it. Waller and Stratton both need to be built up, but I mean, being in the ring with Johnny Gargano of all people, who put in a 91 by the way, 62 Candice, 33 Grayson, 30 Tiffany. Gargano got a 91, and so hopefully being in the ring with someone with that performance will help boost them up in ring and pop wise, fingers crossed, but we'll see. 74 though, I'm happy. A good little tag match. As afterwards, Gargano and LeRae, the husband and wife, they get to celebrate. They've shut up hashtag trending, at least for now. Hashtag trending never stay quiet or shut up for too long, do they? But at least for now, Gargano and LeRae come out on top for an 82. Good match, good post, no complaints. What more could you ask for? As then, we go from this lovely moment between Gargano and LeRae to a very bitter and bloody feud, which is probably going to be very bloody here, because it is, of course, hardcore for the hardcore championship. The champion, Damian Priest, and against the former champion, Tommaso Ciampa. Not very happy with Damian Priest's partying ways. He says the hardcore title is a serious title for serious competitors, and you're just going around, you know, partying and boozing and all of this. You want to be a playboy, then go ahead, but don't do it with that damn championship that I brought so much legitimacy to. And even Timothy Thatcher, I don't like him, but he brought legitimacy to it. He's a tough guy, and you're just not. And Damian Priest wanting to shut up champion. Oh, I'm the champion, I can do what I want. If I want to go out boozing and partying, I'll do that. And then I'll come in this ring and kick your ass as well. So, I mean, it's going to be a bloody match, isn't it? Damian Priest and Tommaso Ciampa for the Hardcore Championship. In the end, your winner, and still the Hardcore Champion, is Damian Priest. In the end, hitting Tommaso Ciampa with the Reckoning on top of a steel chair. Why not? To make his first defense of the Hardcore title for 79. Good match. 85 Ciampa, 75 Priest. I'm happy with this. Damian Priest, still Hardcore Champion here. Damian Priest, I mean, beating Ciampa again. What does Ciampa do now? He's lost 2 times to Priest. What is next for Tommaso Ciampa? We'll have to wait and see for that. But for now, we move back to NXT. If you haven't noticed, I'm kind of jumping between Raw and NXT matches on this show. Best way to do it, in my opinion. But we go back to NXT for the Cruiserweight Championship match, as the champion, Trey Griffin, takes on the challenger, Kalisto, leader of the now known as Lucha Dragons. Kalisto showing a more serious side. I mean, he pinned Rey Mysterio recently following some, you know, outside antics. And on this part of NXT, he pinned Trey Griffin in a 6-man tag match. Once more, after some antics, but still he pinned Trey Griffin. This more serious Kalisto got that pin on the Cruiserweight Champion. If he does it here, he will be the Cruiserweight Champion. Trey Griffin looking to prove that he deserves to be champion. Kalisto looking to prove that he's been here longer, he deserves to be champion. What more was there to say? Cruiserweight title on the line. In the end, your winner, and still Cruiserweight Champion, is Trey Griffin. Trey Griffin gets the win over Kalisto with a Meteora for a 70. You know, I mean, not the highest rating between the guys. 72 Kalisto, 64 Trey Griffin. So 70 is probably a bit generous, if anything, but we take those. I'm fine with that. Griffin does get the win and does retain the Cruiserweight title over Kalisto. Kalisto pinned him in that 6-man tag match, but where it mattered, Trey Griffin does come out on top and retain the Cruiserweight Championship. And then we cut up all this action and we go backstage. And we go to Kayla Braxton knocking on the door of the Diamond Mines locker room. Malcolm Bivens opening the door. In the background, you see Roderick Strong training with the Creed brothers in the ring. Taz giving the orders, giving the instructions. The head trainer around here in that kind of role that Hushy Man had in real life. And Malcolm Bivens taking the questions from Kayla Braxton, saying that tonight in the main event, Roderick Strong is going to do what he should have been able to do all those years ago if he had been given the opportunity. He is going to become the WWE Champion. Now, Kyle O'Reilly might fool people around here into thinking that he was the diamond of the Undisputed Era. I am a man who's been mining diamonds all my life. I personally find a coal and I pressure it into those beautiful, expensive rocks. And guess what? Roderick Strong is the biggest, shiniest diamond of them all, and he's going to get that lovely diamond-encrusted belt round his waist in the main event tonight. It is as simple as that. For a 63, yeah, Diamond Mine, Malcolm Bivens. You got to give him time to talk, haven't you? It's Malcolm Bivens. We do love him. Stokely Hathaway are now lined with Jade Cargill, but still with the Diamond Mine here, and Taz is here as well, because who doesn't love Taz? Roderick Strong getting ready for that main event with Kyle O'Reilly. Yeah, no issues. As then, earlier tonight, Orton and Garza became the #1 contenders to the Raw Tag titles, but who will they fight? Let's find out, shall we? It's time for the Raw Tag Team Championship match. The champions, the Broserweights, Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle, there you go, taking on the challengers, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Owens and Zayn saying that if the Broserweights didn't insert themselves into the match at WrestleMania, where it was just going to be the Celtic Warriors versus Owens and Zayn, became the triple threat tag, Broserweights won. Owens and Zayn saying they would have won the Raw Tag Champs. They'd be the Raw Tag Champs now, and they want this fair shot against Broserweights 1-on-1, well 2-on-2, but you know what I mean, just mano a mano, you know? Raw Tag titles on the line, Broserweights versus Owens and Zayn. In the end, I haven't pressed next segment yet, but I'm thinking this could be one of the matches of the weekend because all four of these guys put in such good in-ring work. Kevin Owens especially got my first 100, I want to say, against Adam Cole. So fingers crossed, in the end, Broserweights versus Owens and Zayn for the Raw Tag Team titles, your winners, and still the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Broserweights. Bro, Pete Dunne pinning Sami Zayn after hitting him with the bitter end. A 99, like I said, stealing the weekend here, really. Incredible. Broserweights retain the gold. 98 Kevin Owens, like I said. Matt Riddle got a 93. 89 Pete Dunne. 86 Sami Zayn. All four of these guys are so good, aren't they? They're incredible. And the Broserweights do retain their Raw Tag titles. Very happy to do so. As after the match, Owens, you know, a bit down. He's sitting on the apron by the ramp. He's not looking happy. He looks, you know, dejected. Sami Zayn on the mat rolls over to him, checking on him. Owens checking him. Owens helping Sami Zayn out the ring. You know, Zayn's arm over him. Kevin Owens helping him stand up, saying, "You okay? You okay?" Zayn saying, Yeah, I'm doing okay." And then Owens says, "Okay." And then Owens turns, flips up Sami Zayn, powerbomb onto the apron. A familiar sight. Not just Kevin Owens powerbombing people onto aprons, but Kevin Owens very specifically powerbombing Sami Zayn onto an apron is quite a familiar sight, to be honest. I can see it in my head right now happening in NXT. Kevin Owens doing it here, though, at Battleground. Very much not happy. As they lose this opportunity, Sami Zayn gets pinned, and Owens plants him with that powerbomb onto the apron for a 100. Kevin Owens, very seemingly having enough of being the loser here, having enough of being on the losing side of things, and taking that aggression out on his best friend, like a brother to him, in Sami Zayn. For that 100. Yeah, I sound happy. I'm not. It got a good rating, so I'm happy, but it's quite sad whenever Owens does another turn on Sami Zayn. You'd think he'd expect it at this point, but oh, poor Sami Zayn, too trusting of anything. Let's move on to happier things, and nothing makes me happier than when Dakota Kai is in action, our NXT Women's Champion, ready to defend her title against another woman I'd love to see in action, Toni Storm. Who doesn't love Dakota Kai and Toni Storm? What a pairing these are in the ring. Kai and Storm, this match has been built up on a lot of respect. You know, they grew up in the same circles, training in the same circles, both coming over from Oceania to NXT, to WWE, both looking to make their way here. A lot of respect in this ring, but both women having enough respect to put everything they've got into this match, both women wanting to leave the NXT Women's Champion. And in the end, the woman who does leave NXT Women's Champion is Dakota Kai. She keeps a hold of her gold, pinning Toni Storm after hitting her with a GTK for the victory here for a 80. Pretty good, you know, we take that. They got a 77 and a 60, so we very much do take the 80 here. I'm happy. Dakota Kai making her second defense in the NXT Women's title. She won at WrestleMania, defeating Toni Storm to do so. After the match, you know, you have Dakota Kai helping Toni Storm up. A lot of respect. Toni Storm lifts Dakota Kai's arm up, gives her a moment in the ring. Lovely. So much respect in this match. We love it. We very much did go from Kevin Owens, you know, smashing Sami Zayn on the apron to a lovely moment here. That's what wrestling's about. You know, it's the ups and downs of life. And speaking of the ups and downs, it's time for a beautiful up of crowning a new Women's World Champion. It's currently vacant after Io Shirai watched Breaking Bad and thought it was an instruction guide. Why the hell did you do that, Io? But still, it gives us a chance to crown a new Women's World Champion. It's vacant. It's ready to not be vacant anymore. We have the entrances of the 3 women in this match. Alexa Bliss making her entrance. Mandy Rose making her entrance. Naomi making her entrance. Drake Maverick making it very clear. No interference, please. Nia Jax banned from ringside. Gigi Dolan and JC Jane banned from ringside. And they're not directly aligned with her, but they're very much against Toxic Attraction, so they could come out, I guess. So Fallon Henley and Zoe Stark also banned from ringside for good measure. A 100 for that, incredible. As it's time to crown a new Women's World Champion. I didn't think I'd be saying this for a while. Alexa Bliss, Mandy Rose, Naomi. All 3 women want that gold. Who will come out on top in the end? Your winner. And the new Women's World Champion, who hopefully will not become toxic and will not start dealing drugs, so I don't have to do this again. The Women's World Champion is Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss does do it. I guess Alexa Bliss separated from Nikki Cross in the draft last year, and she had this kind of thing going on where she wanted to prove she could still go on her own. She'd been in a tag team for so long, but now on her own, could she do it? And she was doing well. She lost her match against Armageddon, I want to say, against Sasha Banks, but she proved she could still go in the ring leading up to that. And after that, she continued to prove that. And she completes that kind of mini story and road she had been on, proving that the Alexa Bliss, who was a multi-time Smackdown and Raw Women's Champion, was still there. And she's done so by becoming the Women's World Champion. A lovely moment. 76 for the match. 77 Naomi, 77 Alexa Bliss, 63 Mandy Rose. I'm happy with that. Alexa Bliss is the new Women's World Champion, and she is coronated. Fallon Henley and Zoe Stark come out even. Nia Jax coming helping Naomi, who's not very happy. Gigi and JC helping Mandy out, who's not very happy. And Fallon Henley and Zoe Stark lifting Alexa Bliss up onto her shoulders. It's not very hard. Alexa Bliss is very short. They lift her up on her shoulders. Alexa Bliss raises the Women's World title in the air to much cheers. Alexa Bliss, the majority, if not all her women's title reigns, were as a heel, I want to say. So just a nice moment where she has this moment and reign. Well, not reign, but she has this moment as a face. The crowd cheering as she is crowned Women's World Champ for a 97. Very happy. Good match. Lovely moment. Alexa Bliss, the Women's World Champion. Lovely. As then, we move back to the Black and Gold brand for the NXT Championship match. The champion, Chad Gable, takes on the bully, King Corbin. King Corbin reverting back to the old SmackDown days, wanting to take down Shorty G and give the NXT Championship a champion it can be proud of. It's a heavyweight championship, not for pipsqueaks like you know. And Chad Gable wanting to kick Corbin's ass, just to be frank with you. But also wanting to shut Corbin up, you know, for all the bully stuff, proving he's not Shorty G. He is Chad Gable. And he is the NXT Champion for a reason, and he wants to prove that here. And in the end, with the NXT Championship on the line, your winner, and still NXT Champion, is Chad Gable. He does prove it. He does shut Corbin up, and he does so by making him tap out like a little, insert expletive here, with the ankle lock for an 83. Not as high ratings I was expecting, but 90 Gable, 68 Corbin. Corbin probably bringing this down a little bit, but still, 83 is not a bad rating. Maybe all the light blues I've seen recently just getting me head a bit. But still, 83 is still a very respectable match rating between these two guys, as Chad Gable does shut up Corbin and does retain his NXT Championship. Happy. Good match. As then, we move on to we still got 3 matches to go, so we move on to the next match of this evening for the Intercontinental Championship a triple threat match at that. The champion Montez Ford against Bobby Lashley against Jericho. Now Ford, no, oh god, I'll go all the way back to WrestleMania actually. Night after WrestleMania on Raw, Chris Jericho returns, challenges Montez Ford. He says he is the Intercontinental Champion and he's going to get his title back. They have their match eventually at Vengeance, ends in DQ after Lashley gets involved. Lashley stays involved, and now we head into this situation. Lashley, tag match, Lashley MVP defeated Montez Ford and Jericho because Ford and Jericho obviously couldn't communicate and get along. So Lashley got the win. They couldn't hashtag coexist, guys. And then we led here. Triple threat match for the Intercontinental title. Jericho, Ford, Lashley. And in the end, it kind of follows the finish of one of my favourite matches ever, fun fact about me, which is the main event of Armageddon 2008, where Jeff Hardy finally won the WWE title. Massive Jeff Hardy fan as a kid. And it kind of follows that. Ford is kind of out on the top rope. Jericho and Lashley going at it. Jericho hits Lashley with the Judas effects. You know, Lashley has him in the hurt lock. Jericho, leg, swinging his foot back, kick, low blow. Judas effect, takes Lashley down, makes the cover for the 1-2. Out of nowhere, Ford from the heavens, frog splash, breaking up the pin. Jericho rolling off Lashley. Ford covering Lashley. 1, 2, 3. Your winner and still Intercontinental Champion is Montez Ford. Montez Ford does get the victory in the triple threat. He pins Lashley to do so. He still hasn't pinned Chris Jericho, but he does pin Lashley. 86. Really good match. Very happy. 81 Lashley, 79 Ford, 78 Jericho. Very happy with this match. Montez Ford makes his 5th defense of the Intercontinental title. Very, very good. Very happy for Montez Ford. He gets his moment. Ref raises his arm. He raises the Intercontinental title. You know, goes to the top turnbuckle, raises it up. The fans loving it. Gets off the turnbuckle, turns around, and there is Chris Jericho. He still hasn't pinned Chris Jericho. He still has. He beat him in a triple threat, but he hasn't pinned him. He hasn't submitted him. 1-on-1, these guys. There's still that match to go. There's still that match there, really. There was no result at Vengeance. So this still needs to happen at some point, doesn't it? 92 for that. Great match. Great post. Very, very, very good. I'm very pleased. Now it is time for the penultimate match of this evening. And it's the match for the Women's Tag Team Championships. I put it in this very late spot. Because why not? They deserve it. The Women's Tag title, I personally admit it was probably one of the short fallings of Season 1 to me. But I feel like I'm booking it much better at the moment, at least. So hopefully, long may that continue. And this match is, of course, between the champions Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair against Team 2001, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. Jade and Perez against two superstars they idolised, two superstars who helped convince them to get into wrestling, and now getting a chance to go toe-to-toe with them at this premium live event / pay-per-view for the women's tag titles. It doesn't get bigger than that. In the co-main event, lovely. And in the end, Jade and Perez show they can go in the ring with Lynch and Flair. Lynch didn't really need convincing. Lynch very impressed. Flair did need convincing, and Flair maybe impressed. Maybe just annoyed that it's taking this long to put Team 2001 away. But in the end, they do so. Becky Lynch forcing Cora Jade to submit with the disarmor for an 82. Yeah, good match. Jade and Perez, hopefully it will help their in-ring and popularity being in the ring with Lynch and Flair. Fingers crossed, but either way, they put on a good performance and a good match here. They've proved they can go toe-to-toe with two of the top superstars in wrestling in Lynch and Flair. Lovely for them. Going toe-to-toe with their idols as well. But Lynch and Flair do retain their titles. 82, 92 Lynch, 84 Flair, 47 Cora Jade, 37 Roxanne Perez. Very happy as, in the end, Lynch and Flair do make their defense. And after the match, there's some showing some respect. You know, Perez checking on Jade, Lynch reaching down and helping Jade up. And Lynch raising Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez's arms. Lynch telling Charlotte to do so too, but Charlotte a bit hesitant and eventually doing it as well. Just a lovely moment of respect between the more experienced Lynch and Flair to these younger, up-and-coming Jade and Perez to say, you know what, kids? You're good. You're good. 73 for that. Very happy. Just this is a show full of quite lovely moments and quite sad moments, but quite lovely moments overpower it, in my opinion at least. Before we get ready for the main event with the entrances of Kyle O'Reilly and the Roderick Strong with the Diamond Mine. Diamond Mine coming out first with Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong ready for an 86, and then Kyle O'Reilly coming out as well, guitaring his way to the ring on that WWE Championship. 86, and then it's time for the main event of this evening. for the WWE title. Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, both men go at it. There's a lot of anger in this match. Roderick Strong, he's got anger all the way back to... His anger could go back for a while. You could say he was angry that Kyle O'Reilly won the US title over him. You could say he was angry that Kyle O'Reilly got to the King of the Ring final over him. That Kyle O'Reilly was in the Royal Rumble over him. But he was especially angry when Kyle O'Reilly chose to fight Adam Cole at WrestleMania and broke up the Undisputed Era. And maybe he was angry because the Undisputed Era broke up, or maybe he was angry that Kyle O'Reilly was the one who done it. Kyle O'Reilly was the one who said, I am not a follower, I want to go out on my own, and it wasn't him. Roderick Strong saying he is not a follower, he is a leader. And coming here as the leader of the Diamond Mine now with the Creed brothers, with Bivens, with Taz, against Kyle O'Reilly, who wants to prove that he is WWE Championship material still, because there's still questions hanging over it, you know, a lot of people still don't look at Kyle O'Reilly and think that is a world champion. That's a man a company could put their top title on, and he will carry that on his back, but wanting to prove he is capable of it. Main event of Battlegrounds, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, WWE Championship, in the end, your winner, and... still WWE Champion Kyle O'Reilly, hitting the brainbuster on Roderick Strong in the end for a 98. And like I predicted, I want to say Owens and Zayn, the Raw Tag Title match between Owens and Zayn Broswaits was match of the weekend, like I predicted. Those guys can really go, can't they? But 98, still incredible. Same rating I think Rousey and Baszler got. They might have got a 99, but I think it was a 98. Either way though, 94 O'Reilly, 82 Strong. Both doing amazingly, as O'Reilly does retain the WWE Championship. He does beat Roderick Strong. And the Diamond Mine helping Roderick Strong out the ring and up the ramp, and Kyle O'Reilly just left to have a nice moment in the ring. How we can just do a full-on guitar solo with that belt. Just a nice moment of celebration to end things here for Kyle O'Reilly for an 86. I just wanted to give him this nice moment, you know, him standing tall to end as the WWE Champion. It's just a nice moment, a show full of nice moments, and the show that gets an overall rating of a 100. Both premium live events in this episode, Battleground and No Mercy, both getting 100. Incredible, both amazing shows, both so much happened. Very, very pleased. Who do I want to shout out? Oh god, wait. Broserweights and Owens and Zayn. I've got to shout some. Riddle and Owens, and who else? I'll do Kyle as well, I guess. Oh, one of the things I don't like, but I wish I could praise more people in this, because I know it's workers to single out, but everyone did so well. Why can't I just say everyone did good? You all did great. Pleased, and I am very pleased. But it doesn't matter what I think on the show things. What do you think? What do you think of No Mercy and Battleground? What was your favourite moment? What are you looking forward to come as our next premium live event specials next month? Of course, Money in the Bank from Las Vegas, Nevada. And then also we have SummerSlam coming up at Wembley. So much to look forward to. I cannot wait. I'm loving this. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, like I said. Way down there, leave a like and subscribe for more if you have enjoyed and you are enjoying. And I really hope you have and are. And as always, I just want to say thank you for watching.